It's going to be Obey's map pick as well. So already going to get straight into the map bans. And sorry, the operator bans. So Obey are going to remove Capital off the board.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair ban, a very fair pick. He can be so controlling, especially on the kind of top floor and when you're trying to break your way into the very small holes and small corners that you can otherwise find yourself in. Tie that in with the fact that, as I said, on the top floor, if you're looking at those very long gunfights across those 2 new balconies, well, having a little bit of control without having to go all the way in can play very well. Thatcher is taken off the board.
I'm very interested in what BDE, how they actually want to play out this map, because so Obey chose the map, which means BDE have to choose the sides, and they've chosen to start attack. So already that's saying to you, okay, this is interesting, you know, what do they want to do here? And then they've banned out Thatcher as well, and you're like, okay, what do they want to do here? Because those are some very strategic bans coming out from BDE, and as I said, we don't really know what to expect from this roster whatsoever. I'm not too familiar with this team. There isn't, from what I could see, there wasn't really that much to look into other than they've played in some lower level, like tier 3 leagues. And, well, there's going to be a Valkyrie ban coming out from Obey, which I think, honestly, is a good ban coming out from them. And, you know, if you don't know the kind of team you're against, ban out Border, ban Valkyrie, do not let them get aggressive. And we'll see how it goes down. So, the big person on this team that I'm familiar with is Jewel, or J-Wall, or whoever you want to call him. I call him Jewel.
You're not that. I was going to say you're not that familiar when you didn't know how to pronounce his name.
Well, you know, we had a couple of pronunciations of it when I casted him back in the days. When I first casted like 2 years ago.
It's funny that you say back in the days, because the last time that we were on Cafe during this season, and I was just double checking it, Thatcher was banned then as well. Akatsuki were the team that took Thatcher out on the map of choice there, banning the Thatcher and the Maestro, with Jacqueline Echo being the other 2 bans. So it seems to be par for the course for how they like to take the Cafe fights so far.
Obey have chosen 4 ACOGs and a Jaeger, so that should just immediately scream to you how exactly they want to play in the series. But I actually like the lineup from BDE, and it just seems to me, again, that we have a team like Obey that has a very important matchup coming up that they need to not show any strats, and they're not that worried about this matchup at all. And then we have a team like BDE who can really run strats, and they can do whatever they want, and they can play their game. And I was talking to Jewel about this matchup, and he said that, you know, it's going to be easy for them, he claimed, because they could just counter strat and Obey have absolutely nothing on them.
Yeah, that's one of those trade-offs, and it's always one of the kind of, it's the dice that you throw into the pool before you start to see what numbers come up, and you try and make a balance out of all of this stuff. Yes, there's all this footage on Obey. You can counter-strat that, which they don't have the ability to. But, on the other hand, as you said, Obey have big games upcoming. They're going to not want to reveal their strategies, and you can probably expect that. But then at the same time, in BDE's favor, you're thinking, okay, well, this is going to be potentially a more chaotic map, so that could also play to our favor. There's so much that kind of comes into the little nitty-gritty decision side of it, and I guess it's down to who can actually be the one to pull out the firefights when they need to. Well, either way, here's a bit of a quick clear coming in. Buck wants to get underneath alongside the Zofia for cover, and they're going to try and make all of the ground inside Piano and Cigar uncomfortable for the defense. There's this ping that comes out towards the pillar side, but the man rotates round towards Reading and pushes onto the back of Train. They're trying to get aggressive against it, and Callout takes a half health of damage, and then Savoy's going to rotate out of there and leave the rest of the fight to BDE.
I actually really like how BDE is taking this. Like, they've realized that Obeys are going to play this like very, very aggressive. So they had drones earlier on looking for the spawn peaks, and already we see a man off the board. Ito is going to kick things off with a kill onto Grixter, and already the Echo off the board. So this Echo drone is going to be a little bit less effective as we see the Buck go below and just try and force people out of positions. And with the Thatcher ban, you definitely need to do this. And I think Jay is also going to be going below and trying to take any of this hard breach shit out of the board if he does think it's up. But of course, that hard breach is going to be used as he move all the way in. Fozo is actually going to lose the fight as Forest picks up one on the other side, as Dax is going to make his entry through into Piano, and Drone's going ahead of BDE. I mean, this is textbook Siege coming out from BDE right now. We might have a game on our hands here, Fluke.
Kind of hoping we are, because this was the one that we could have swung to and looked at as being potentially the most, well, not balanced, but the most aggressive across the board, and the most continually aggressive as two teams tried to make the better of each other, with one of them still trying to keep a bit of a hold, because they have loads of other things to play for outside of this. Abunai, suffers, but manages to get himself back up, and then, well, straight back down again as he's picked off, and Yito steadily creeps his way through onto the point. Drones are coming out, but in the meantime, it's now a 3 versus 2. Call Out is getting aggressive against the Nomad and finds them, brings it back to a 2 versus 2, but there's still a body in Cigar, and Maestro is going to spot them, reveal them, and zap them just a little bit. Swings round to the new Balk, and the other body pushes around towards Piano, but with 30 seconds on, they've got to try and start their pincering maneuver across this top floor, and with the big wall in the way, it's going to be a bit of a tough fight, because any corner and any swing, there's probably going to be an ACOG there.
Yeah, Cole's going to take the drone up off the board, and Jay and Famine are all that's left from BD's attack to try and make this work. Jay's going to make his way into sight, but going to go deep into Freezer instead. He has Diffuser, he has the ability to play this out, but no, he's going to lose the fight! And there we go, Cole's going to finish it off, as we see Obey Alliance take round number 1. Sorry, Forrest going to finish it off. Obey Alliance take round number 1, and ooh, that was looking a bit squiffy there for a while for Obey. They were losing a lot of those early fights, but Forrest, I think, was really the main deciding factor, that he was the one who just wasn't playing super aggressive and was just using his Maestro cams and using everything that he could do, so that, yeah, there we go. So Obey gonna kick things off with a defense win on Cafe here in Cocktail. But BDE, I think, honestly, we're just taking that how you should be taking that, and they were actually winning a lot of their early fights.
It was well played by them. They were quick, they were aggressive, they got in where they wanted to, they moved the man instantly away from underneath and forced everyone into the same kind of position, and then from then tried to double down on the rooftop and get control of the staircase. That way, it was great cover from the side of Obey to be able to, as we said, and at the very beginning of this, they're going to hold that long angle kind of firefight. It becomes a place for Maestro to thrive, and, well, thrive he did, and continue lock down body after body. But I guess we'll see how that kind of translates to a point like this, because on the top floor, you have a little bit of freedom in there. If you give the other 2 floors, they've still got to push you across it. This one, however, there is some very tough positions if they get control of all the vertical, especially early on. If they have enough time to find those soft bits above you and kind of force you into more uncomfortable positions, it can really pull a defense apart and into the gunfire of waiting teammates, which we've seen BDE do okay so far, and I guess we'll see if they can keep that role going.
Just because we don't really go over rosters here in OGA, just a quick shout out to Execration, who's the coach for Obey Alliance as well. Coaches don't tend to get too much recognition in Siege, but you know, there we go. Don't say I don't do anything for you, Execration, because there you go.
Did you just do a shout out?
Just gave him a shout out.
Did he ask for one, or is that like a...
No.
Okay. Then that's a nice... If he asked for one, then it's like...
You know?
What?
Look, I think I did the right thing.
I'm sure, yeah, you did.
Yeah. I also like 6-bit coming out from BDE, moving off the book and bringing the sledge instead, because they figure, yeah, they're going to be going for a kitchen and service. Sorry, I'm still back on coastline, but it's going to be Famine who picks up the opening kill of the round. Call going to be going down, and Jewel going to be opening it everything he can. So just that top floor and then down clear from BDE is going to be coming through. But Abadai goes to the front door, run out, and he takes Jay quickly off the board. Beautiful shot coming out from Abadai. He's going to tie us up at 4 apiece.
Wow. That was a quick run out there, and the drop comes down, and Fuzzo is slowly being droned out on the top of these stairs. This is going to aggressively move into it and takes care of Famine. There's still 3 more bodies on this top floor, but 2 in the favor of Obey. Well, now there's none in the favor of Obey. A quick shutdown there from Jewel and Dax, and now it's just a matter of finding their way further downstairs. Abadai still being aggressive and holding on to the angle as best he can, but with the body and pillars, that space and where he can go with it is going to get tighter and tighter, and it's going to get droned out and just has to fall back. He doesn't have the choice to hold as aggressively as he did before, especially when it is yet again a 3 versus 2. Though previously this did go in the favor of Obey, so they're not really that struggled or pressured. And with a minute 20, they've got to start having the collapse come down against them. Have the hard destruction still on the table, have the sledge for soft and the Nomad for roam control. They've generally got all the makings of a good siege cake here, but can they find the recipe together? There is the dock out of it.
Great droning coming out from BDE there, and it's going to be Yito Delito. As we see the dock of Abadai going to go down. It's all down to Forest to try and bring this in. As the sledge is starting to do work from above, and BDE desperate to find out where this Maestro is indeed hiding. He's going to move all the way through, just behind the bomb into kitchen service and see what he can do. Forest still going to be holding down. Yito going to be trying to crouch walk his way up into sight, as nades are going to go down, but they should be pretty happy with what they can do here. Is that 3v1, so the trades are potential, but they're not going to need it, as Yito is going to move all the way in. That's a 2k from him, and BDE take the round in their very first attack here on Cafe. Much better, I think, like, much better shutdown of the roam game from Obey that time.
Yeah, they were very quick and very decisive about it. Obviously, Obey still managed to find one in amongst the movement outside and then found one aggressively pushing against the top, but they had the 3 bodies on the top floor. They were able to get all the angles they needed, and there was nowhere really for Obey to go. I'm wondering if they're going to collapse a little bit further back down, or if they're going to try and double down. We saw the Vigil there for a second in the hands of Forest, but that is always the possibility of a 6th pick.
I think Obey really need to relax with this whole take ACOGs and just peek everything, because it just isn't working for them at all. And it looks like we are going to see that coming out. I'm going to be surprised if we don't see the Kaya 6th pick here coming out there from Obey, because they were kind of teasing it. They were also teasing the possibility of a Mozzie in this lineup as well, but it looks like they're not going to bring either of those operators. The Alibi, however, is going to be stuck here. We'll see what Obey wants to do with that. It's going to be Grix, the Alibi, and I don't know, like, I look at this lineup and I can't see, like, the exact strategy that's going to happen here, because if there was a Mozzie on the board, I would have said, okay, there would be, like, a really heavy roam strategy, because BDE has been relying quite heavily on their drones to drone in their entry fraggers. It tends to be how they've done things. They've had an entry fragger basically behind, well, directly behind every one of their drones. So, it kind of reminds me of BDS in a way, with how BDE are playing this.
You know, maybe that's where the name comes from. I can't think of anything else that it might be.
Maybe, yeah.
But we'll see how they can try and make it work now as the timer ticks over and they find themselves on the aggressive. They've got the Nomad on the board to try and keep control of the potential run-outs and swing-outs that we've already seen at least once, and they've got the IQ to try and filter and feed some information. Now, Bunai is going to get as aggressive as he was before, setting up on the second story first this time, and while destroying as many plants in life, just to, you know, try and make sure that, well, it's Forest's job on their team to supply the only trees and air in this Obey setup.
I like that. I like that phrase.
Thank you.
It's good. So, we'll move in as BDE begins their second attack onto Kitchen. Last time was very, very successful for them, and Obey just had this really aggressive roam and just got shut down instantly. The Hot Breach does come through from Famine here. He's getting quick control over Piano, and again, the kind of same play coming out from BDE, where they just go from the top down and try and do whatever they can there.
It's a very good standard to set, because they know and they've already seen that there's aggressive play here coming from Obey. That was a big misplay, though.
The timing.
And you're wondering, they did manage to find up the trade, but there was a body, and I think it was Famine that died in exactly the same place in the previous round. So, yeah, if anyone should have expected that,
it should have been Famine.
Yeah.
Gotta learn from your deaths.
Well, unfortunately, didn't learn enough and then falls victim to it. But now it's just a matter of, again, they're doing their steady close. They have the top floor, they're getting control of the second, and Obey have generally set themselves up for more of a close-range firefight down on this ground floor. Dug into Kitchen, dug in across the bar side as well, making sure that they've got all the lesions to give them the early information, with Fozzo holding a very deep angle and awaiting and covering on the Maestro drones. But this is that vertical I talked about the first time I visited this point. It makes the defenders quite uncomfortable for a lot of the core places. It doesn't give you complete control of the site, but it does cut down at least 60% of it.
So we'll see Yito is going to be trying to do some Delito of his own as he moves through into those half-stairs areas. Obey kind of trapped in sight right now as we see a lot of vertical play getting opened up by Jewel, but he's going to get shut down by Fozo with a great peek. And Grixo going to move all the way through, but no, from above, it's actually going to get destroyed by JJ. And this is actually looking very good for BDE because they still have this vertical play. They've still got plenty of time to work with, although that timer is starting to tick down. But their drone game needs to be better here if they want to shut down defenders and find out where they are. Forest, talking about one of those pesky defenders who could be playing around the bar area and seeing what he can do from that area, as Call Out is still in sight. And BDE are running out of time. They need to get in here. They need to find some frags.
Well, JJ at this point is stuck holding vertical. That's all he can do, and the Legion pops off, tries to swing into and against the Nomad. Another charge goes off, and the man comes from behind. That is a very big pick, and there's another one that comes from above. Fozzo is the only one left, finds one as IQ drops in and tries to find a way closer to the point, but they don't need to. As a beautiful frag of JJ getting a 4K, throughout the round and showing BDE how to control this play space.
Much better from JJ, considering the previous round he got ran out on just instantly.
That's where it's coming from.
Yeah,
It's like when you get teabagged and then you suddenly go, well, now it's just maybe play better.
Yeah, that's true. Well, things kind of at a surprising start here for BDE. They are up 2-1 right now on Cafe's attacks. Don't forget, this is Obey's map pick as well. Like, they wanted to go here and they wanted to be able to try and play ranked right off the bat. They were not allowed to do so, and BDE are definitely up for a bit of a fight as they go back to Bar Cocktail Lounge. And honestly, like, this was still close, and BDE had a really good start to the last time they attacked here. But unfortunately for them, Forrest was the one who kind of brought this in. Not in terms of frags, especially, but just purely in terms of info. And be able to play those Maestro cams, take the drones off the board early on from BDE, and kind of shut down that entire attack.
Well, another ACOG is back on the board, and for the first time, well, not for the first time, they're generally swapping around the Maestro, and I think that's a good thing to see, is they're opting to kind of double down who's doing what role and who's bringing it where, and obviously we saw Forzo bring it on the ground floor, and Forrest bring it on the top, and they've opted to kind of keep those rotations the same. So Obey is bringing the semblance of how they would like to hold this and lock this down. As I was going to begin to say at the beginning of this, they have brought less ACOGs. There's only 2 compared to the 4 that we saw in our last jaunt to the top floor, and they're going to try and utilize this to keep a little bit more control. And to be fair, it did come down a little bit to the wire. They managed to find some of the bodies as they tried to enter from the top of the northwest staircase, and then from then on, I guess we'll see if obviously the Pulse can offer some semblance of support. Whether they put someone underneath and try and hold with a C4, I guess we'll have to wait and see, because, well, Famine and Jewel did take that quite aggressively previously.
It's interesting there's no Echo this time coming out from Obey. I really thought that they would really want to go for the Echo here. Like, the Echo and Maestro combo is so strong. Maybe it's the fact that BDE did really well with the IQ last time, like below, and be able to take that all off the board. But Famine's actually managed to find his way all the way onto white already as the drone. It's going to spot out the Legion Man for him to be able to take that off the board, and Famine should be able to move up where he can. But this is actually really early and good control coming out from BDE.
Yeah, they have wasted no time to find their way through this map, and I think that's one of the things that could play to their favor. If they keep this aggression on and try and keep Obey on the back foot, Famine does a very quick swing there with the sense and decides not to push that point. That could be a little bit more of a swing of control. Breaking the floor almost directly under the Maestro. That's again finding himself in a little bit more of a tighter gun space, but is happy to try and aggressively slightly lean against it. And with the double up of one body not much further away, they can at least define themselves on a trade. JJ suffers a huge chunk of damage on the roof, and just going to pull back, drone ahead for the rest of the bodies to try and make their way across. But again, Abunai is really leaning into this aggression.
This is not looking good for Obey at all, but there we go. Abunai is going to kick things off into Obey's favor. Famine goes down, and so does Dax as well. Great couple of picks coming out from Abunai. That's the thermite off the board. That is a huge pick for coming out from Obey, as below, Jill just trying to do some damage here, but is going to get that damage dealt up onto him. BDE have lost a lot of control. They spent the entire round trying to gain. Yito just going to just shut down Abunai. What a shot coming out from Yito there, and turns into a 4v3. There's definitely a semblance of the ability to fight back here for BDE, but they don't have a lot of utility up on the board, and without their thermite, I'm not sure if this is really possible.
Well, that was a really, really great reaction there. And Jewel was on a fraction of health, but has found his way back to the top. They've otherwise, obviously, got to really work with what they've got. With the hard destruction off the board, they can't really do as much against this Freezer side as they might have otherwise wanted to, so they're going to try and push this as a flat, and the eyes of Maestro are forever watching. So, looks like Buck is going to opt to go underneath and see if they can offer a bit more cover than Nomad. Catches them out on the rotate, but it doesn't matter as they find all of the kills in quick succession across the sides of BDE and bring it back to a 2-2.
A good attempt from BDE. I also thought like the Zofia going down as early as she did, Famine off the board, means those Maestro cams are not going down either, and you just have that Maestro cams have been so effective on that top floor defense, but it's been the only defense that's been successful so far for Obey. Things overall not looking good for Obey here, because if they can't just keep going back to Cocktail, they're going to have to go somewhere else, and it is going to be Reading Room. If they can't win this defense, I don't see Obey taking this map, honestly, because it seems like BDE are just doing so much better in terms of like control and just shutting down roamers, they've also played quite well off vertical play. Like, the vertical play has actually been really good from BDE. I think their early round droning has been the one that's been punishing them the most, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about how we've seen this map break down as well. As I said, to hark back to the Akatsuki Adventure Force game, 7 of the 10 rounds went in the favor of defense across the kind of board. And it's one of those maps where it does swing a bit into the favor of defenders at this moment in time because it's still quite fresh, still quite young, and still kind of being developed. So finding your consistency with those attacks, finding your way in to try and battle against them, even if you're finding out information against these teams that obviously when you're a tier 2 team knocking on the door of tier 1, you are scrimming a lot, you're developing a lot of strategies, you have your support staff as previously mentioned, and you will be working this stuff out usually with more time freedom than a tier 3 team. And that's the kind of breakdown of it at this point. So theoretically they've had more time and more practice against the map. It's often harder for attacks against defenses, and it's harder to kind of learn this stuff as a breakdown as well.
Well, we'll see Obey going to be going to that reading room defense. We'll see how exactly we can do with this. And in a way, this upstairs defense is, sorry, the reading room defense is played a lot like the upstairs defense is. Jewel going to be bringing the sledge once again. Maybe they were thinking it was going to be a kitchen defense, but it's not meant to be, as we'll see BDE begin their attack and see exactly what they can do. Famine has had like the weirdest mouse movements in this entire series so far.
Yeah, I know, right? I am wondering what
this guy is on something.
He's on very, very fast sense. That's for sure. And you know, I guess we'll see how it kind of comes together. So far, Famine has been the opening death twice and the opening frag once. So he's had a mixed game so far.
So far. I'm not sure how I feel about the Ellis shotgun in this situation. I feel like he could dominate the white stairs angles, but yeah, I'm not sure about if this is going to work out correctly for Forest here. He's going to be still pushing up onto Pixel, however, and seeing what he can do, but oh, trying to find the breach charge, but will get found himself, and just gets put in the dirt by Famine, who finds the opening kill this time. So he's 2 for 2 right now.
Well, Call Out finds the response with the C4, the first we've seen of this series. And there's a close body on the window, and there's a close body not paying attention. Yido and JJ find 2 more swinging into their favor. Mozzie is still free to move around and might able to find his way through the back of at least a little bit of this BDE defense, but whatever he does has got to do it sooner rather than later because, well, they're generally taking complete control above. They have the lockdown on top. They're just at this point waiting for the collapse below, and there's a lot of soft roofs above every room across this board. Jewel is making the full advantage of that, dropping any of the mute jammers, dropping any of the potential holds against the walls with, I guess, Thermite off the table. You get a bit of breathing room and knowing that your solid walls are staying solid, but there's only so much that can really breathe you when they've got 45 seconds in complete vertical control.
Jewel going to be opening another vertical control, as you did say it. Diffuser is down, but can easily be recovered. But what can't be recovered is that life. As there we go, Collart's going to find one, but he's going to be found himself. It's all down to Grixer to try and find this 3v1. No Nitro remaining for himself, of course, as he does actually have a Mozzie drone up into train to help him out here. But Jewel's going to start to plant. Very, very deep indeed. Grixer's going to try and go for the rotate here. He finds the planter. What was that? How do you let that happen? Grixer's denied the plant from going down. All he has to do is play his life patiently here. Famine goes for the plant here, but Grixer finds another one. There goes Yito. That's a 3k for Grixer on the round, and Famine completes the plant. It's all going to be down to him to try and bring it in. Oh my god, what a shot from Grixer to bring in the round. And he'll disable the diffuser. Maybe going for a type. No, not just yet. As there we go, he'll disable it. And Obey now find themselves on an advantage.
Maybe the best clutch we've seen so far in OGA. Maybe. Because that was exceptional.
That was an absolute throw though by BDE. I cannot believe they let that diffuser go down like that.
Yeah, it wasn't great play from BDE, but the thought pattern there from Grixer to obviously, when we first saw him in that breakdown of play, the roof above him was being smashed and he was being shot in the back as he fled laundry via reading. From that point to pillars to double down on the man that had just been traded and find well, he didn't instantly kind of go for the body and go for the pressure there. He kind of waited and he saw it and he waited for it to get a bit closer, wait for the time to go down a bit further, find one, swing round, get the information, and then to be able to then find the body on pillars and come back towards the point, find a bit more safety. It was masterfully kind of weighted there.
So Grixer finished that round with a 4K, but here's my question. If you plant your diffuser, that's 5 kills. If you plant the diffuser, that's commonly known. If you kill the planter, does it also count as 5 kills?
Only, I think, if they're in mid-plant animation.
Sure.
Because it's got to be impact.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing to get the clutches, but it would kind of take away from the clutch A style of play.
Yeah.
But as we saw in the EG game, if you Hail Mary a bullet to the planter down in Clubhouse in the first map of the day, I think that's worth...
It could be round defining, definitely.
Yeah, that's worth a handful, that, for sure.
So, again, we'll see Obey is going to be going downstairs to that kitchen. Has not been successful at all for them so far, but I'm glad to see them bringing a lot more hard reaching out, especially the Kaid.
Yeah, the double up there to have the Kaid, to have the Bandit, and to have a little bit more semblance of control here, and I guess try and just keep more of this map under their, dominance, I think is going to be a big part of this. Yido setting the Nomads on the run-out door that has already claimed 1 victim today, but it seems like Obey have actually pulled off that level of aggression. They're not being as peak everything aggressive as we saw in the first couple of rounds, and they've managed to pull it back with the past 2 rounds from a 2-1 split to a 3-2 position, which is vital rounds for them to get before the turn of the half, because even if they did get it to a 4-2, that's not the easiest kind of breakdown on Cafe.
No, it definitely isn't. We'll see Famine is going to be rappelling up onto this cocktail lounge rappel and see what he can do to try and break this down, but it looks like, again, from BDE, go for the top, go down. And that's really all you need to do to take quick control of the map. Abadai, again, could be playing very, very aggressively to stop this early map control, and Grixer looks like to try and help him out a little bit here.
Yeah, they're just trying to get as much information and as much kind of... they're getting little bits of it, and, well, big bits as they take care of the operators, and there's the Grixer cover, as you said. They're not trying to be as aggressive as they were, was the point I was going to make, and so far it's working in favor. Previously, Abunai was on the very top of the staircase, has pulled down a set, and it's kind of played them into him. Fozzo has now doubled up to find 2, and they've completely torn BDE apart, who look lost on this second floor. Don't get the flawless, as JJ at least finds 1 on the refrag, but with everything left to do, and now they've opted to go back up to the top floor and the bottom. JJ is in the middle of a sandwich of death.
Not looking too good for JJ whatsoever here to try and bring in the round, but he's in a 1v4, he'll place a drone down. Oh, is there going to be the drop coming through, and he gets the pre-fire onto Avanai. God, that is going to be terrifying to see on your drone, to see a man just drop down like that. But he will drop him. It's going to be a 3v1 now. JJ definitely has the opportunity to bring this in, but no, we'll get shut down by Forest as Obey Alliance will bring in round number 6. And now there'll be a 4-2 split, so it was a rough start for Obey there, but they managed to bring it in to an acceptable scoreline. And now they find themselves in attack with a Thatcher ban. It's not too easy. I'm wondering what BDE's plan is, because honestly, going into this matchup, I didn't know what to expect from BDE. I've actually been okay with their strategy so far. I think they've done well. I think they still have a lot of things to work on, especially in terms of their droning, and also in terms of not throwing rounds. That would be helpful as well. But they had a very strong start. So Obey are definitely going to define how they want to do things by already picking up the Ashe and the Twitch and the line.
Yeah, that's a lot of pace, a lot of information, and a lot of fragging potential in the hands of, well, some characters that we know are very good with it. Going to swap the Lion off for the IQ. So they're going to bait the Lion. They're going to put a little bit of fear into the hearts of BDE, but might not be as aggressive as initially suggested. Yeah,
Fozo going to be bringing the IQ rather than the Lion. That's definitely a good pick, given that there is a Thatcher ban, and if they do want to kind of go for that early control of a piano and try to get the piano wall open, they're definitely going to need it to shut down any hard breach now. If it did come through, but you see it come through. It's going to be the Kaid being brought here by JJ, who's definitely done a lot of fragging potential here for BDE.
well, setting themselves up for the top floor hold. And obviously this is generally the favored point as a way of breaking it down. And it makes sense. It plays to a lot of teams' play styles where they want to kind of get in aggressive and hold the cigar side and be right underneath the drop down, where they want to take the long action and take the long angles, where they even want to do some crazy stuff in pillars below and have the big firefights. And I'm curious to see what we see from BDE. As we said, we haven't really seen a huge amount, unfortunately. Setting themselves up with a deep roam Yido here on the Legion, who's going to be playing right the way down on the first floor for now. Has the option, obviously, to rotate up whenever he needs to, but potentially just going to try and stem the flow of the immediate entry. And we actually see, doubling down, the Jaeger is going to head down the stairs to potentially go and meet him. It's just going to play outside reading room door.
Well, we'll have a look at what Obey want to do here, but it seems obvious from their kind of lineup that they're just going to go straight up for that piano take. It might have a few similarities to how Sonics were taking this when they played Augulus, where they have one guy repel acid or cocktail with just like all the run out denial on his side, and then he just plays that angle while everyone else pushes piano.
JJ, here's the Legion, and there's a lot of pace coming from Obey on that drop down on the west side, and this will have to be fed to the players of BDE as Abunai opens up the frags, and they're already in on Cigar, they're in on Piano, they're holding the tight angles, and Ash is trying to make as many movements as she can as quickly as possible. There goes the first Thermite charge, going to put it close enough to be able to cause a little bit of destruction against the opposite side wall, but it can't quite find its way through with the hard reinforcement there. A couple of flashes go in to burn the ADSs, and now comes some immediate pressure with Forest going to rappel up to offer themselves on the opposite side. Fuzzo is going to wait for the rotate here from Yido, and Forest finds Jewel in the meantime. A 3-5 with Dax under a bit of immediate pressure, unable to put the attention onto the other side. Well, first because there was a gun, and second because it's killed him. Famine is now dug in and trying to find some semblance of space, and does find the Thermite from sneaking around, but the cover is there, all down to Yido, who has at least crept his way back up to the top floor. But with the diffuser, well, cold, they don't even care about it. They're going to go pick it up and go for the plant. And at this point, with then Abunai's injured, but Yido finds Grixa on the cross, and there is the man from Pillars.
All the way from below, Forest doing a great job there to close it out for Obey, who are looking absolutely spectacular fashion to get very, very quick control over the piano. Don't think that was the smartest place to try and play the Kayad up into Pixel like that. Especially when you know there's like a Thatcher ban, right? And you know they're going to have to try and play around that pretty aggressively. So Obey, definitely looking like the Obey that we know and love to try and bring this in. All they have to do is take 2 more rounds on the board, and they brought in the first map. Don't forget as well, this is their map pick, to be fair.
Yeah, this is the one that they wanted to come to, and a Ying pick, first one we've seen today. Even in a match where Jaeger was banned, we didn't see a single Ying, and if there was a point where you don't expect to see her, but she probably wouldn't be that surprising, it's probably in a Jaegerless game.
Yeah, no, that is true, actually. We didn't see any Ying, did we, in the Jaegerless game? She isn't very meta right now. I'm wondering what the plan is here exactly. I like the 6th pick onto a Ying. It's like very, very unexpected kind of pick. There is a Jaeger up on the board from BDE, and it was already shown during the pick phase, so not about that. Maybe like Ying into like Heaven and just jump in there. We've already seen from teams how effective that can be just by getting quick control over Heaven on the like northeast side of the balcony.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we've seen from Obey instantly off the bat is their pace. That was no time wasted getting in and getting all the bodies in through Cigar and Piano. From where BDE tried to have a little bit of that in the first round, there was not really a response. And I'm curious to see if BDE set themselves up to be more responsive to that.
I like that Cade. He put the electrical like right at the top where it's very, very hard to see it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you can shoot for that from the skylight, but it's going to be hard to kind of like mix out. So, but it's not. I don't think it's going to matter because I don't think that's at all what Obey want to do here. To even try and push that side, they don't even have a harbinger.
Obey have consistently been knifing each other, and I'm just going to assume it's
like high fives.
Yeah, it's high fives. It gets you in psychologically. Like, yeah, we can do this. We can find our way through another team. setting themselves up with a little bit of concern of the run out there. Obviously, they tried that in the previous round. BDE were being a bit aggressive on the door, but couldn't quite find the body. So Obey are always going to respond with a hot breach and a bit of pace straight onto the point. There's the Yings, there's the bodies. 4-4, they don't quite find everything, and we can't see anything now. As Abunai unfortunately suffers the same fate. Mozzie swings around the corner and drops the Ash, but it's a 3-3 in the meantime as Jewel goes down, and there's Yido, but Famine finds Fozzo. Call out brings it down to Famine, and it is now just the plant being put down, and JJ, who has had to swing round from the Cigar side, trying to get the post-plant situation. Ying, well, at least she survived and got the diffuser down, but it might have been at the cost of some of her teammates.
It's on to JJ to try and bring this in a 1v2, a post-plant situation. As you mentioned, Fluke, this is not looking good for JJ at all. He has no utility whatsoever. He's going to have to rely on his trusty old shotgun to try and bring this in. He goes for the peek, goes for the pre-fire as well. He sees the Ying, but misses the shots. And Obey put him in the dirt as they take round number 8. So we were kind of right there as well. It wasn't Ying repelling into heaven, but they did go for that, you know, just chuck Candelas into the objective, into Cocktail, and just take over very, very quick control of that. I actually like that from Obey. I think that's a fair strategy to be bringing in, and that is going to put them onto match point on their map pick. It also puts them in a decent round difference. That way, even if they do lose Consulate, as long as they, assuming they take this round, they put themselves on 7-2, which means that it should be a good round difference. Even if they lose Consulate, as long as they don't lose it as decisively going into that decider, they'll have that good round difference. They'll be able to decide what side they want to start on. So,
how do you stem 5 rounds in a row, and how do you find a way to break it? Well, the strategy BDE are going to go for is a different point, first of all. Kitchen service, kitchen cooking, and the Blitz, for the first time potentially this entire tournament, I think is being bought. Might have made a little bit of a showing during some of the LATAM stuff and during some of the kind of quick fire rounds where they decided to throw everything at the wall and see what body stuck. But otherwise, this is maybe one of the first showings I think we've seen it in NA at least.
I gotta say, hold on. I hate this from BDE. The fact that they just did the most predictable thing in the world, where they would go downstairs. They already show their castle, which confirms to Obey they are going to go downstairs, which means Obey can now bring the Lion. They can bring the Blitz. They can do whatever they want. What BDE probably should have done there, honestly, is shown the castle and then sick picked it, and also not gone down here and gone upstairs or reading instead. Because Obey have completely changed their lineup. Well, not completely, but majorly changed their lineup. They've not brought a hard breacher instead. They brought the Blitz. So, like, I don't know, like, if BDE want to beat Obey here, they cannot be predictable like that. There's a bad move from them.
Well, they took a chance, and I guess Obey read it very quickly. Obviously, as you've said, they have the Lion, they have the Blitz, and look at them, they already have themselves in the building. No time at all, ping in the default cam to be dropped by the man in front, and well, here comes the Lion, here comes the rush, here comes the attention on the castle door with the Ash, and here comes the bodies of Obey. Blitz is leading the charge, but gets dropped from swinging the wrong way. Grixer finds the first frag against Jewel and the second against Yito. It's a 3 versus 5 with 1 man down, but he's just going to lie there as they keep finding the firefights. The second E1D pops off. Barbed wire is going to slow the roll slightly, but the diffuser is being planted. Explosions are ringing out, but so far they're just again going to at least find one back the other way. Grixer suffers, but Abunai is back in the fight and back standing up, and now back to cover and protect this diffuser. JJ finds a body, and Fozzo suffers as well as Forest, but Abunai with the long angle, what can you do now? JJ, everything is on your shoulders, and Blitz is at least team killed, and there is call out as well. Well, apparently you might not even have to do a huge amount. I say, I'm joking, there's still loads to do. Forest is holding the angle, and JJ swings around the corner and finds the body and needs to find the diffuser and can get this done in time. It was Obey's round and they threw it. There's no denying that.
Oh my god, what a throw from Obey. That's the second 3v1 throw we've seen today. Not good at all. JJ, however, cannot be undetermined from that, and he will clutch it out for his team. I feel like the rush was so obvious in that lineup from Obey, like bringing the Lion as well when they've never brought a Lion before.
Yeah.
And just, I really think that BD should have seen that coming, but yeah, I mean, it still worked out for them completely fine. It should not have worked for them, but yeah, it will work out for them. Obey Again, going to be bringing the Lion up here, as we will be seeing a Bar and Cocktail Lounge defense yet again. I really think, like, there's a lot that BDE can do revolving around a 6-pick that they just have not done. I don't think they've 6-picked that much, really.
No, and obviously one of the things that obviously they said to you at the beginning, BDE, was that they're confident against Obey because they know their strategies and they know how they want to play. And maybe on another day where Obey might have been running their strategies, they might have been able to have more of a response, and their picks and how solid they are without needing the 6 picks might have mattered more. However, it's obvious Obey are playing this, well, they're playing this a bit loose, a bit chaotic, and a lot of fun. They're having a great time with it, and it's responded by the gun skill and the team skill that they have. Because obviously, you can always talk about people playing away from their strats. There's still always strats there. There's still always play styles, however you do it. And as you're right, BDE need to adapt a little bit more. They need to be able to swing away from the strat book and swing into the winds that Obey are happy to blow around it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, BDE go into this matchup with a very good idea about what they expect from Obey, and they've been completely thrown in the wind here of what Obey are actually like on game day. So, match point still to Obey, but a complete throw by them in the last round is going to keep BDE still in this. JJ going to go for the spawn peek, but is not going to be paid any dividends for it just yet. And it's like Obey, again, are going to be very heavy on this kind of rush strategy. However, they've not brought the Lion, they brought the Sophia instead.
Well, they're backwards repelling to make sure they don't suffer the run out, keeping a close eye on it. But all of them are doing it from a body of 4. They use both of the impacts to crack open there, and that is now that drop down. Well, it's definitely open, and they find their feet inside. JJ going for a bit of a roam and a rotation around the back of red stairs, see if they can find some ground behind them. In the meantime, Grixer is finding the head of JJ. Shuts that down before it even begins, and now that is all their bodies in on that point. They're going for the same paced push that they had the first time round on this side, where they got into Piano, got into Cigar, and I don't think they've really let go of the sprint key yet.
Not quite yet, not quite yet. Fozone going to be sprinting around and trying to just move their attack around a little bit. Call-out successfully opened up both walls now, both into Piano and then into Freezer as well. So they've got a lot of control for themselves here as well. Should be able to drone it all out and see exactly what the setup is here from BD and where everyone is playing. However, it is going to be Jewel on the smoke. He's playing very aggressively here in the bathroom. Should be able to take it out, and there we go. Greats are going to move in, and he's going to take him out. Does see the backpack of the Maisha, but that's not a hitbox, unfortunately for him. He should be able to call it out, and Abadai will take him down. It's now a 2v5, ball down to Yito and Fami to try and bring this in. Grixer finds one, but it's going to be Abadai who trades him out. Obey Alliance will take round number 10, and they'll take map number 1, 7-3.
Well, Obey, they're giving a hell of a masterclass in how to play as a team. Even when your goal is to just get through the opponents, everything is calculated, covered, and I guess we'll see if that can continue on Consulate as we head through onto map 2.